physiological maturity of the crops from germination up to harvesting. Another service that will be available on our Ecofarmer platform is the VIA logistics platform. This platform will enable farmers to request reefer trucks for the cold chain crops, and this will allow farmers to maintain integrity of temperature from harvesting up to the off-taker. Honorable Minister, as you are aware, like I mentioned earlier, high temperatures, they increase the rate of metabolic processes in crops and as well as fermentation processes. This results in problems such as sugar build-up, sauerkraut fermentation, resulting in quality deterioration and rejection, even in the export markets. Also coming with our exciting platform is the drone spraying and surveillance. Drone spraying and surveillance will target large plantations such as the sugarcane plantations, the citrus plantations, as it is not sustainable and it is also costly to use knapsack spraying for large tracts of land such as the sugarcane plantations. Honorable Minister, the platform will also allow farmers to carry out robust soil analysis using high-performance liquid chromatograph technology. This technology will not only be limited to soil analysis, but will enable farmers to carry out other tests such as aflatoxin. And so this platform is going to be launched in 2 phases. There's the USSD platform, which allows farmers with feature phones to access the service. So on the platform, on the Via Tractor platform, these are the services that are available. Farmer will be able to hire a tractor, book a tractor, schedule a tillage service, and also be able to prepay. In addition, prior to deployment of the tractor, the Ecofarmer team will inspect the land so as to deploy the right size of tractor in terms of horsepowers and to improve efficiency and quality control of the process. Next slide. So this is a summary of the full range of tractor services coming on the platform. Plowing, disking, these are part of the land preparation. Then we move to planting, precision planting of small grains, oilseeds, and even potato tubers. Then water delivery and drilling for irrigation purposes. Then fertilizer spreading, especially for the wheat and the other small grain crops, that is vicon spreading. Then ridging for the potatoes, boom spraying for our pre and post-emergence herbicide application, for the pesticide application, and for the fungicide applications. Then we also have harvesting and trailer weight, that is post-harvest, to prevent loss of moisture and weight whilst in the field. Just after harvesting, the crops have to move to either the pack shed or straight to the market post-quality control. On the platform also comes with bore drilling, like I mentioned earlier, to boost as part of irrigation, water and irrigation infrastructure. Then another point, your honorable minister, the drone spraying will come with precision foliar spraying, that is for liquid fertilizers, and precision fungicidal spraying. As you are aware, fungicides, they attack the leaf surface of the plants, so the drone value proposition will definitely be a game changer in addressing the predicament of both late and early blights. So in summary, the benefits of the platform are convenience. The farmer can access equipment anywhere in this country by just dialing *902#. Efficiency, the farmers are able to sweat their assets when they are not using them. Farmers are not going to keep their equipment idle after using them. It also improves efficiency on the side of the farmer who is hiring out the tractor. Is they able to plant on time, do their land prep on time, do their spraying programs on time, do their harvesting on time, etc. Value for money. It promotes transparency in pricing. Our platform will come with standardized pricing. Access. The platform will allow growers to access equipment and water services close to where they are located. So this is just the summary of the tractor services that I've been mentioning about. So if you're phone right now, the Honorable Minister can dial *902# to just have an overview of our services. But I'm sure it's going to ask you to register first, but as a farmer, I'm sure it won't be a problem. Next slide. Next slide. Honorable Minister, we believe this is a convenient time to launch this service to the farmers as we are getting into the farming season, and we are looking forward to collaborate your efforts in participating in command agriculture tillage, and as this dovetails with the government's vision of achieving the upper middle class economy by 2030. I thank you.
Thank you, Tino. I would like you to say, I've always wanted to say this, but because I'm not a pastor at church, I never get the chance. Tell your neighbor, dial *902#. You are not saying it strongly, people. Dial *902#. If you forget everything else that's been said today, that's the only thing you should remember. 902#. I would like to acknowledge the presence of the Deputy Minister of ICT, Honorable James Square, who's just joined us. And to introduce them to the podium, I will call again Mr. Chibi. Thank you.
Thank you, Fadzai. I've already dialed 902#. Thank you. I think in my earlier remarks, I had indicated that we're actually expecting the Minister of ICT, because our drive is digitally driven and we're building platforms which enhance agricultural productivity. And I spoke about blockchain, I spoke about artificial intelligence, I spoke about the virtual flows and the marketplaces for agriculture. And we are honored this morning to actually have the Deputy Minister of ICT, Honorable Muskwere, with us. Thank you so much for coming through. Incidentally, he's the one who launched VIA for us. Thank you. The product you launched, Honorable Minister, now has got 20,000 vehicles on the platform, and we're grateful for that success. Included, thank you. In addition, out of those 20,000 plus vehicles, 2,000 of them are tractors. And that's why we've got Honorable Perrence here with us, the Minister of Agriculture. And what we're seeing now is the Cassava is bridging the two ministries with our deployment of technology, and we're grateful for that. So I'll allow the Honorable Minister, or Deputy Minister of ICT, Honorable Muskwere, just to say a few words. I'm also made to understand that the PEMSEC for the Minister of Agriculture is also here. Mr. Nchora, thank you so much for coming through. Honorable Mskere, I'll give you just a few minutes before we get the speech from the Honorable Minister. Thank you.
The Director of Ceremony, retired Chief Air Marshal and also Minister of Lands, Agriculture, Water, Climate and Rural Resettlement, Honorable Perrence Shiri, the Embassy of Ghana officials, the non-governmental organizations, executives from Cassava, executives from Econet Wireless, and business executives as well from VIA. Good morning to you all. It is with great pleasure that I have been asked by Mr. Chibi to give you a few remarks with regards to the growth of the ICT sector, and in particular with reference to agriculture. As you are all aware, agriculture has been the backbone of the Zimbabwean economy. And we are very grateful with regards to what Cassava Smartech and VIA are doing in terms of food sufficiency. In terms of ICT, our target is to ensure that there is growth of the ICT sector. The second objective is to ensure that there is transformation of the ICT sector. How do we utilize ICT for economic growth? How do we utilize ICT to ensure that we can transform the entire economy from primary to secondary to tertiary industry? And how do we use ICT applications to ensure that there's precision agriculture? How do we move towards artificial intelligence? Our other objective is to ensure that there is innovation. And Cassava is doing exactly that. Last year, I've had the joy of launching VIA. And as what Mr. Chibi has just said, the company has grown. It now boasts of more than 20,000 vehicles. It also boasts of more than 2,000 tractors. As we are all aware, there's been a shortage of the mechanical aspect of agriculture. We've been trying to revolutionize agriculture. And Cassava Smartech is exactly doing that. Everything that Cassava Smartech and VIA are doing is in line with the President's Vision 2030 objective to ensure that we have an upper middle income economy. And the principle and the fundamental thing is that we have to be food sufficient. The Minister of Agriculture will also give us information with regards to the importation of agriculture products like food. We can't continue importing food. And Cassava Smartech is exactly doing everything in its capacity as a private sector organization to bridge that food deficit. And we appreciate that. Other than that, I've also had the joy of understanding Ecofarmer. It brings farmers together. It brings access to markets. It also has got the plowing, the disking, the reaping, the planting, and the water delivery systems. And we appreciate that so much. In addition to that, let me also underline the fact that Cassava Smartech and VIA are assisting our government with regards to utilities and infrastructure. They're assisting the government of Zimbabwe, by bridging the rural and urban divide with regards to ICT. This is one of the fundamental issues that Cassava Smart Tech has been doing. The moment we bridge that rural-urban divide, given the literacy level that we have in this country, which means we have growth in the rural areas, we have growth in the urban areas. Let me also commend Cassava for everything they have done in their capacity to provide access to markets. And let me repeat, the tillage services, they've come at the right time. We have to mechanize our agriculture. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. I'll just have to keep Mr. Chibi coming up again and again. And this is the only time I get to do this. So, Mr. Chibi, thank you for coming through once again to introduce the Honorable Minister of Agriculture. Thank you.
I'm not sure who is the MC now. Dr. Mskwere, thank you so much for your remarks. We really appreciate even your taking time to be with us and also to see the role of ICT in agriculture. We see that I had earlier on said some of the things which we are now talking about are just beyond conference conversations and conference topics, is the reality. And if we don't embrace it, we are going to lag behind. And as Cassava, what we do is to innovate. What we are employed to do is to innovate, and we'll continue to innovate in the space of agriculture and everything else where we see the potential positive impact on people's lives. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me at this point to invite men we are all familiar with, the Minister of Lands, Agriculture, Water, Climate, and Rural Resettlement. Is so many things, Honorable, and the portfolio is so huge. And we're grateful for Honorable Air Marshal Perrence Shiri, retired, for coming through. He is a farmer himself. And it's appropriate that he also has the same ministry. I was having a conversation with him earlier on and even yesterday. And he's the one who actually said, can you extend this invitation to the Minister of ICT? And he did himself, because he sees the relevance and the link. He's a reputable farmer himself. Talking to him, I actually felt inspired. And I'm going to do something before this season comes out. I'm not... Honorable Minister, I'm not just going to provide platforms now. I'm going to be an actor in that space. We all are aware that he was the commander of the Air Force of Zimbabwe and assumed office in 2017, a reputable farmer, and has been championing farming in the agricultural sector and overseeing the technological advancement in agricultural space, and in his efforts to make sure that we restore Zimbabwe as the breadbasket of the region, if not for Africa and the world. And we believe we've got what it takes to be able to do that. Honorable Minister, thank you so much for coming through, and then may I at this point invite you to the podium to give your remarks. Thank you.
Zvangu zvaita ndoda kutenda Ecofarmer neCassava kuti vari kundiitira basa rangu. Today you may have noticed I am not putting my trademark attire, because the past few weeks I've been attending some conferences all over the continent. I was in Tanzania, Mozambique, Kigali, in Rwanda, and in all those conferences they were talking about smart farming. And I thought if there was an element of smartness in farming, I then need to change my attire and also pretend to be a smart individual. But that it brings together all stakeholders along the agricultural value chain, be it producers and suppliers of inputs, be it communal A1, A2 farmers, be it Mbuya, Vekwamtoko, they all meet on this platform. National Agricultural Management Tool, which we all ought to embrace. And by the end of the day, the final beneficiary shall be the economy, the national economy, as we all try to address those issues to do with the politics of the infrastructure of the stomach. Government officials here present, led by the Deputy Minister of ICT and the Acting Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Lands, Agriculture, Water, Climate and Rural Resettlement, Cassava Smart Tech board members, the Chief Executive Officer of Cassava Smart Tech Zimbabwe, Mr. Dichibi, Econet Group and the Cassava executives and management, members of the Diplomatic Corps, farmers and the farmer organizations here present, representatives of non-governmental organizations, agro-industry players, distinguished guests, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning to you all. I feel greatly honored and privileged to have been invited to this special occasion to celebrate the introduction of yet another innovation from Cassava Smart Tech tractor, which is aimed at optimizing the use of farm equipment. I am confident that this is set to transform the agricultural landscape in Zimbabwe. You are aware that as government, we are seized with programs to boost agricultural productivity from our land. However, we have a deficit of 33,000 tractors, 10,000 planters, 500 combine harvesters. The introduction of such a service that is designed to optimally utilize the available equipment complements our efforts to boost productivity in our farms. Our role as government is to facilitate and capacitate the farming community to ensure that our land is fully utilized for us to produce enough to feed the nation and to have access to export. When that noble objective is achieved, we would have acquired our status not only as the breadbasket, but the supermarket of Africa. The launch of Ecofarmer platform, which facilitates digital equipment hire platform, is set to transform the agricultural sector through providing access to farming equipment, water delivery and borehole drilling, among others. The digital platform deployed in partnership with the Trotro of Ghana will facilitate efficient utilization of farm equipment, which is a prerequisite for increased production and productivity. I'm advised that Over the past 6 months, Cassava Smart Tech has been running a pilot program, and that you already have 2,000 tractors on the platform. I am also reliably advised that in the past 3 months, you have contracted over 4,500 hectares. As government, we commend you for that. The introduction of via tractor services will also ensure that Zimbabwe aligns to global trends of using technology in agriculture to transform the lives of our people. As we have already heard from our previous speakers here, the platform will connect farmers from anywhere in Zimbabwe to access farming equipment for plowing, disking, reaping, planting, fertilizer spreading, ridging, boom spraying, harvesting, trailer works, as well as water availability, among other essential services. Let me reiterate the fact that our vision as government is to see more companies harnessing technology and all our expertise to augment government programs and ensure that Zimbabwe gets the best out of all available